I'm doing what I love. Like, what is missing? And I had this innate pull to always build my own business, like build something that was mine. So that then brought in this desire to start looking into signing my own clients.
All right. So welcome to the You Are Lawyer podcast. Chelsea Jones, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am really, really well. I've been busy today.
Yeah.
I like to say that I'm like building a media empire, and today has felt like it. So I'm excited to talk to you, another person who is a strategist, but you're a social media strategist. Tell me more.
Yes, yeah. I'm really excited to be on your podcast. I think I mentioned this when I initially did my outreach, but I have one of my one-on-one clients was on your podcast. So it's kind of where I got familiar with you and what you do. So I've been following along since then. And in terms of who I am and what I do, I'm the founder of Chelsea and Media. So that's a social media marketing and strategist agency. So I specialize in helping lawyers with building their personal brands online. I focus on Instagram. So that's where my area of expertise lies. And then I do some support with other platforms like TikTok and LinkedIn and things like that.
Yeah. So you are not a lawyer, that's correct?
I am not a lawyer, but I wanted to be one.
Oh, okay. Well, that counts. That 100% counts. So I just wanted to make sure I let the audience know I do speak to non-lawyers on here. It's not very often, but if you've built a business specializing to lawyers, you know how to speak to lawyers, you know how to engage with lawyers, you know how to write copy for lawyers. So I think your services are more than accepted here, right? With the podcast audience being law students and young lawyers. So absolutely. So Chelsea, I gotta say, I enjoy Instagram, but only on my personal side. I don't like it for business. So how did you decide to specialize in Instagram, and why? I guess kind of a combination.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I appreciate you being honest because I mean, in general, right? Like social media is not for everybody. It's just not. And also, I know this can sound controversial coming from someone who does that for a living, but I'm a big believer in doing what feels right to you, because at the end of the day, like for you, you enjoy it for the personal. In that instance, it's like if you were to create content for the business side of it, it would probably come through in the content, right? It would feel forced maybe. So I'm a big believer in doing what feels aligned to you in that way. And the reason I am in a place where I specialize in Instagram, and that's where all my one-on-one clients really focus their content strategy and marketing on, it's a couple reasons. The main reason is that when I signed my first lawyer client, who then ended up, kind of referring me, and it was word of mouth from there, as I had more lawyers approaching me, it was like a common trend I noticed across all these lawyers, different areas of law, that Instagram actually seemed to be their number one source for leads and referral relationships. Yeah, so I think I leaned into that because that was what I observed was working really well.
I love that. I think I like to have a little bit of strategy, but then also use my intuition. So I like the fact that you were like, okay, I attracted a lawyer. It's working. And also Instagram is working for lawyers. So I'm going to double down on that. I think that's important.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, I definitely am also, I think it is like a big part of my work and and how I go about what I do, and maybe what even like separates me from just like another social media manager or strategist in general, is that I really also take a look at the lawyer approaching me for help, and I look at what is working well for them and how we can optimize that. I'm never about like, it's my way or the highway. Right? Like that's not my thing. I really am like holistic about it, and I don't want to reinvent the wheel if the wheel's already working. So
yeah. So you seem like a nice person, and you definitely didn't call me out, but I'm actually feeling a little called out just because I'm not an expert. So maybe that should have been a nudge to say, why don't I hire an expert? Right? Like, or even, okay, Kylie, you don't enjoy Instagram, but someone might. Don't write off the whole platform.
Yeah. I mean, can I ask you, like, when did you realize that you were more on Instagram for personal use? Did you attempt using it for business and it was just like, oh, I don't like this? Or maybe the content wasn't performing well?
So performing well, I fake look at the analytics, right?
Okay.
Like I'll screenshot it once a month and be like, oh, 10,000 views, which I think is hilarious because I might get 3 likes on a post. So I don't know why you're looking and not liking,
Mm.
but that's a whole nother
So
thing.
many. There's so much of that. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm a little bit older. And so I remember Instagram from back in the day when it was just pictures. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I
Yeah.
had friends on there from Facebook and then they rolled over. And then when I started You Are a Lawyer, a lot of those people jumped on. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you here. If you're not a lawyer, I don't want you here, right? I only want to like bring in new people essentially. So I didn't have any strategy about it whatsoever. I just grabbed the name because I was like, I didn't want anyone else to grab it. And then I have a coaching business now, and I do put up reels only because I found that static photos do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I like them, but I mostly like it because I just take the TikToks that I make where I get to be free and more creative and put them up on Instagram.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there is zero strategy, and that is part of it. But then also, like, I don't know if people are finding the business from that page because I just kind of post what I want, and that probably feeds into it.
No, I totally get that. And you're not alone in that at all. I think it's also like you're doing so many different things. Like, why would putting together a content strategy on Instagram be like top of mind for you, right? Like, that's a common thing I see in my work as well. Like, lawyers coming to me with that being another common kind of pain point of like, I just don't know what's sticking. Like, I just don't even have a plan in place and I don't have time to make a plan, sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you attracted that first client and they were a lawyer, what were you thinking? Were you marketing to lawyers?
Yeah, so it's actually crazy. It's kind of surreal because that first lawyer client that I signed, I've been with over 4 years now, which is incredible. Like, I've been able to really watch her evolve her law firm. And I was actually just on her podcast yesterday. So I've been reminiscing about that relationship and thinking about that with your question. So I wasn't seeking that specifically, like, oh, I want to work with lawyers specifically. I was at a time where I had just gotten a full-time position working at a marketing agency for somebody else. So I was doing the social media, loved the work I was doing. But at the end of the day, I can't even explain it. And I also was able to like move out and get my own place, but I felt unfulfilled. Like, I just felt, okay, I have my own place. I'm doing what I love. Like, what is missing? And I had this innate pull to always build my own business, like build something that was mine. So that then brought in this desire to start looking into signing my own clients. So doing some freelance work. I started on Upwork. If you've heard of Upwork, it's pretty large known platform to find independent contractors and things like that. So I started on Upwork. I would pitch myself to just companies on there looking for help. And this lawyer client was on Upwork. She posted, she said, I just started my firm a year ago. It's getting so busy. My marketing's been working, but I can't keep it up. I need somebody to help me. So I reached out. I also checked out her Instagram and her website, and I loved what she was doing. It was so cool. Because I think on the outside perspective, there's that stereotypical view of what a lawyer should look like, should act like, right? And I'm sure you've felt that yourself and seen that a lot. And me seeing my client building this personal brand, building this community, showing up as herself, I just thought it was so cool and I wanted to be a part of it. So I pitched myself, we instantly hit it off, and yeah, it kind of went from there, basically.
Okay, so I love that. I have found Upwork to be a little bit intimidating, but also I'm an operations person. So the couple times that I got on Upwork and even Fiverr trying to hire someone, I'm like, I want someone to just be in my inbox, and I'm like, here. Like, people send me emails all day long and they're like, I can improve your YouTube. And I'm like, great, send me a price sheet. And they're like, do you want to schedule a call? No, send me a price sheet. And they're like, 10 minutes and we can do this. I promise you, I will pay you for your trial. I'm like, I want you to work now. And so I love that they saw you pitched yourself after doing some investigation and were like, yeah, I think I could really work with you. And you guys have been working together for 4 years. Like, that is my dream And one thing that I really want to point out is the fact that you did your own investigation. You were like, wait, I get that it's my time, but do I want to work with you? Do I think I could expand your brand? Could
Yeah.
you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, totally, totally. And I appreciate you like mentioning that and acknowledging that because I do think that goes a long way, right? Especially when you're hiring or looking for somebody. Delegation is crucial if you want to obviously scale and grow your business. Me as a business owner, I can even say like that's been very hard for me as well because your business is your baby. So I think like one of the biggest qualities that I've even learned to look for too, which I think is why I lead with it as well, because I wouldn't want to look for a hire if I don't even have that quality, is taking that initiative and having that attention to detail. Because I think just today, especially, right, like you were saying, you get these emails, you get these DMs, like it's so hard to stand out if you're not going to be like authentic, honestly, you know? And I'm not saying those people aren't authentic, but it's like really easy to just follow a template, send the same thing to everybody to get the job done, right? And that's not what I'm about. So yeah, for me, it's like from day one of doing anything related to social media and marketing, it's such a true passion of mine that I don't take it lightly if someone is going to hand me money and trust me to market their business. Like I'm just not. It's almost like I will treat their business as if it's like almost mine in a way, in that sense of like care and quality. So just taking the time to look into what she was doing. And I remember that's probably what stood out. I didn't ask her actually, maybe I should, but like I pointed it out to her. I was like, I love that you're doing this on Instagram. I love these reels. Like I love that you talk about this topic. And since then, I've been that way in all my work and with all my clients. Like I find inspiration too from my clients. Like they really inspire me by what they do. And I think it's important to look beyond the surface and like look at the depth, because that also goes back to like storytelling, which you and I were talking about. Like that's a big part of it, is being deeper and not just looking at things from the surface level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you and there's like this big weight coming off my shoulders because I'm like, Kyla, you can just hire out that part and then you won't have to worry about it. So I give myself these weird challenges, right? When I started You Are a Lawyer, I was like, you can't do this. It's so much work. You can't even fathom how many processes, right? I was like, you might post on Instagram once a week with your personal account. What are you going to do with this business account? And so I said, you have to post about fortune cookies. And I created a fortune cookie profile. And I was like, you have to do it for 30 days. And if you do it for 30 days, you can start the podcast. And the podcast will be 5 years in April 2025. So I posted, yeah, like Katy Perry had like a shoe line and she had an ad with fortune cookies in it. And I posted about fortune cookies because I was like, I do like fortune cookies. My husband proposed on a fortune cookie. But I was like, if I can find some mundane stuff and post about it. So that's my strategy.
I love that.
But with that said, thinking about the fact that there is someone who would absolutely love to share my story and it doesn't have to be me, is kind of like awe-inspiring. And also I feel really naive that I hadn't considered it. Because, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. And I love what you've chosen to do with your platform and where you've taken also this podcast. I think it's probably done wonders for just the legal industry in general and for inspiring lawyers and legal professionals. So do you do all your marketing yourself, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't, because I work with a virtual assistant. And so I will make the post and then I'll pass it off to her. And then like in 8 months, I'll get inspiration for a new graphic. And then I'll remake a graphic and I'll be like, go change them all to look like this. But she gets to write the copy and do all of that stuff. And she schedules it all. So, I mean, I'm like the foundation part and then she kind of runs with it. But again, that's only for the podcast. The other 2 channels are completely sporadic. So this ties into a bigger question. When a lawyer decides to work with a social media strategist like you, do they have a goal in mind? Or do you give them like, in 3 months, you'll see this? Or what's that like?
Yeah, that's a great question. I am very open to whatever situation the lawyers and when they approach me. So I don't want to say that they have to have a goal in order to approach me and have that conversation. But I will say, out of all my one-on-one clients and anyone that's approached me, they usually always have a goal in mind. And actually, it's already niche as it is, right, to say that I just do social media for lawyers. When I also really break it down and think about my one-on-one clients, so they all come to me. Usually the situation is that they have their own firm, or I even have a couple clients who are at a firm, but they have like their own book of business and their personal brand, and they've been doing their own marketing. They've already been making their own content. They've already been trying to market themselves and get leads online, and they've seen results to some extent. And then it hits a point where they're like, okay, I'm one person. I can't keep posting to get these leads, but then I need to convert them, but then I need to handle the case, right? So it becomes like this whole cycle. So they're all in a position usually where it's like, okay, I've been marketing. I see the power in it. It's working. I have an idea now of like what I want, but I can't keep doing it myself. So they usually come to me with the goal of really like, help me continue building what I've already started to build is usually their goal, which is, at the end of the day, it is the generating leads, nurturing referral relationships, and staying top of mind. That's like a really big goal for all of them as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So where are you located, and could lawyers work with you nationwide or only, in that state or whatever?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm actually in Colorado. That's where I'm based. I have yet to have a client in Colorado. So if you're in Colorado or anyone listening is in Colorado, I'd love to have a client here because I would be willing to drive and like get content myself. But all of my clients are from like different states. So yeah, I can work with anybody in different states, different areas of law. I have a couple clients in like California, Florida, Alabama, and New Jersey. So it's kind of like a little all over the place, but nothing in Colorado yet.
Okay. And so
Yeah.
without telling any secrets from your clients, what is one like common denominator that you've seen with lawyers and marketing?
Common denominator.
Or like common trend or common mistake or something.
Oh, common mistake. Okay, because I was going to take that in a different direction and say like a common good quality, like a skill set. A common strength is their mindset about content and showing up online. The common trait among all of my one-on-one clients is that they understand that not every post is going to go viral, and they understand that it's okay to have fun with it and to try out a certain reel or a certain post style and then decide like, that's actually not my vibe. That's not, what I want to keep doing. They have a very resilient mindset, I guess is the best way I could describe it. So, and I just mentioned that because I think for, and I have like a membership option as well, which is a lower ticket option for lawyers who aren't ready to invest in that one-on-one help. In that membership, the lawyers that approach me for that offer are usually struggling with the mindset part. They can't get over that hurdle of like, what will people think if I post, sort of thing. So that's like, I would say that's definitely the biggest common trait that I've noticed.
If you don't mind, I would say that not having that mindset might be one of the opportunities they have for growth, right? Like, especially because we spend so much time and money to become lawyers and attorneys, and then to think about dancing online. I know it doesn't have to be a dancing post. But like, I record myself at least 10 minutes every day. I don't care if I'm drinking coffee or I'm at my computer, because then you can put it together in something later.
I love that. And
if you are this big fancy attorney, people respect me in court. I don't want to record myself putting on my makeup and get ready with me video, right? And so I know that for a lot of the lawyers that I just talked to, and they're just like, Kylie, you're everywhere. And I'm like, why not? And I think that mindset piece is kind of hard for lawyers because they're like, I want to be seen in this way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I thank you for pointing that out because, I feel like when a lawyer approaches me with that mindset shift that they're like struggling to have, like I give them so much grace for that. And I want to remind them that they should be giving themselves that grace because especially just being on the other side, working with lawyers, even my one-on-one clients, right, who have that mindset, that's not to say like they don't ever have their struggles. And I shouldn't make it seem like they never struggle with doubt or fear or wondering what people will think. I think it's just, it gets to a point where once you get uncomfortable and you do that first post or you do that first reel and you see it's working, it's almost like this momentum effect. So it gets easier to push past the fear, which is why I love like what you're doing with the podcast, right? And why I'm so like honored to work with the clients I have, because I think especially in recent years, the legal industry, especially online, has been shifting in the best way possible, where it's like, now more and more it's normalized that you don't need to show up in a suit when you're making a video. It's okay. Like, I have a client who shows up in a hoodie sometimes and just talks on his phone, very casual. So it's about finding your style too, and just knowing that you being yourself is like literally your superpower. Like, that is going to be what builds your legal career and your personal brand. But it takes time. It does.
It takes time, and I would say there probably should be a little bit of strategy involved, which is where you come in, because I am authentically me in every post.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's also like, well, how does that relate? And I'm like, it relates because it's me.
I love
I don't
that,
really
though.
think that's it. Yeah. Okay, so it's been 5 years. I probably would have stopped social media for the podcast 3 years ago if it wasn't that just when I Googled, I want to just have a whole page full of stuff. And I was like, my Instagram's going to show, my LinkedIn, my YouTube, and all this. That's literally why I kept it going. And I can show you, I wouldn't show you, I'd be embarrassed. But I would show anyone else the emails to my virtual assistant where I'm like, just post something just so that I'm still showing up, And kudos to her that she was like, well, my reputation's here. I'm going to make it actually look good too. But I mostly was like, I just want to be discovered everywhere. So just keep putting something out. But I like this. I love to learn something new. Yeah. And I know that like my other business is like personal coaching. So I'm going to have to find a coaching marketing specialist. But I love the fact that like, I don't have to do it myself, and I can find someone who can like make sense of my mess in the way that I did when I worked in law firms, and the way that I do when I work with people's podcasts. So like, I honestly had not correlated those two things. So
yeah. Thank you for saying that, for sure. It's been really cool to be able to, just navigate it through the years and get to a point where I can honestly like work with a lawyer and within a month they're like, you are like, you know me so well. Like, how are you doing this? And I take it as a compliment, really, because then, they'll tell me, oh, like I have people asking me, is this you doing your posts? Like these consistent posts? Like it sounds just like you, but I feel like it's not you. And that's like the best compliment. So yeah, it is possible, because I know that's a big fear a lot of even just business owners in general have about hiring, right? You don't want to lose your voice, but that's what I want to maybe emphasize in this conversation, is that you don't have to lose your voice.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So Chelsea, in every episode, I ask every guest what they would say to a lawyer or law student about what they can do with their law degree. But for you, I'm going to say, what would you say to a lawyer or a law student about how to build a personal brand, or why it might matter?
Great question. To tackle the first part of that, how to build a personal brand, because I think that's also something I see a lot on my side, is that I think personal branding, it sounds overwhelming. It sounds like, what is that? How do I start? Are there certain action steps I have to take? And I would definitely just say, build your personal brand, and that it doesn't have to be complicated. Like, keep it simple. Your personal brand is you. So if someone were to ask me, like, how do I start today? Just start being yourself. But also along the way, start creating a plan in place for what that looks like. So I know you were talking to me about how you're very authentic in your content and your marketing, which I think is so great. And that's powerful. And then taking that next step too, of kind of mapping out what that's going to look like in your content. So a very simple, easy, I guess, kind of starter tip that I like to give is to develop four or five content pillars. Kind of break that down. That's just basically like 4 or 5 themes, topics that you plan to regularly talk about. And then those can always be broken down into like sub topics, but at least it gives you a starting point of like, okay, these are the 4 overarching things I'm passionate about or want to talk about. And let me build off of that through being authentic. So a couple examples could be thinking of some educational based topics, things that, you could talk about what you do as a lawyer, of course, even like educational content that speaks to another lawyer to build that referral relationship. Think about some entertaining topics, more of like behind the scenes of what you do, personal topics, and motivational topics. So those would be like 4 kind of themes to think around, and then to start writing down what feels good to you. Like, what are your values? And going from there. I feel like that was a long-winded answer, but I don't know. I hope that helps.
And then just in 2 or 3 sentences, what is the point of having a personal brand? Like, why does that matter when you're going to go and be, working for someone else or working as a lawyer? Yeah.
Okay, 1 or 2 sentences. Let me think on this one. In 1 or 2 sentences, I would say it will create far more impact than you ever thought was possible.
Okay.
And you are a business too at the end of the day.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like that. I'm happy with that.
I love that too, because no matter what you do, and I have 200 episodes saying people do all kinds of stuff, you are a business too. Mm-hmm. I like it. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. You're like, yeah, me too. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much, Chelsea. I am excited for you to be in front of even more lawyers and law students when you're on the podcast. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And if I know any lawyers in Colorado, I'll send them to you.
Okay, that sounds good.
Cool.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.